Yo, what's good, man? This is EC Pinchot Podcast with your one and only host, Glory Boy, back again with another special interview with your one and only, Fierce 2.0. I'm gonna just say Fierce 2.0, and then you're gonna tell him the rest, like your name, everything else, and then we're gonna jump into the song. And the song that we're gonna be using today is by also one of my good friends named Joe. And the song called NASCAR. So we're gonna use that after your introduction, though, so you can just tell the people who you are, and and your socials as well, so that way they can go ahead and follow you.
Perfect. My name is Giovanni Preziuso. I'm a 20-year fitness pro. I'm the founder of Fierce 2.0, the architect of the F1 training methodology. I was awarded top 10 trainers and gyms in the country by bodybuilding.com, one of the largest fitness forums. They have over 40 million active users and family members there. I've been doing this a really long time, and I'm still in the game. Took a few years, to work on myself, and I came back and I rebranded. It was formerly known as Fierce Fitness. So we're back in the game, and we're coming strong.
Damn, that's a that's a heck of a resume right there.
Thank you.
What I'm saying? That's a dope resume. So we're gonna get through that. We're gonna talk about all that, exactly how we all started and so on. And then from there, after the video, the people will actually know who you are.
Perfect.
The face behind Fierce 2.0. All right. And so let's go ahead and start the song. You like the song. So
I love the song. I've been sending it to clients. I was like, I thought you guys were interviewing somebody.
Right.
And you were just using like a smoking hot song of like a top artist. And you said, no, actually, the guy I was interviewing, that's his song.
Exactly.
That's my buddy. I'm like, this song is going to be a global sensation. It's one of the, I was in the hip hop industry. I rapped, I freestyled back in the day. I was a beatbox artist. Right. I did all these different things. And when I heard that song, I'm like, man, this is one of the hottest songs I've heard in a really, really long time.
Right. Shout out to you, Joe. Shout out to you.
Amazing
bro.
Song.
Amazing. All right, let's go ahead and just start this song.
I remember times when I was in my room writing songs, yeah. I ain't even had a loan, but I always knew that I'd make it through the storm. God was watching me from the start, and he always Great star turned into a gold star. Fast car, move with a full high. I've been trapping, you gotta get a fast car. Deflex, I've been moving like NASCAR. Ain't no telling what's gon' happen when we roll up. These niggas speaking on my name, but they don't know us. All the ops try to slide, they can't control us. My homie riding 2 doors, yeah, he froze. And ain't no telling what's gonna happen for my opposition. This that he's saying he could do better, I don't wanna see him. I got a vision, but I peak higher than bird vision. They see the difference, but they won't accept the realization. Nigga, I'm from the dirt, where a lot of niggas don't make it through birth. Where I'm from, you gotta put in that work. Ain't nothing comes easy. I'm not obligated to do anything for you niggas, but I still show love.
Yo,
super hot, man. Super hot. I hope I put my deodorant on. It's super hot.
You have to put it. You gotta get ready for songs like this, man. You gotta be ready. You never know how it's gonna make you feel. You never know the temperature. You never know the temperature level it's gonna put you on.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, man.
Great artist.
Shout out to you, Joe. He said he got more projects coming too. So.
Well. Nice. Well, we'll be on the lookout for him.
Stay tuned.
I got him on my playlist, and I've been bumping him with my system in my car, and everybody's looking like, well, what the hell? Yeah.
Like, who's this guy?
Yeah.
Yeah, but shout out to Joe, man. But yeah, let's now move on to you. The reason why we're here is because of you. You're the main character, basically, within this episode, and it's something that we kind of like said the last time we met. We were like, you know what? We have to shoot something to get the people to know exactly the face behind Fierce 2.0. And not just that, but the face of a man that's been an entrepreneur, but also been through so much, but still doing good for himself.
Absolutely.
So yeah, just tell the people, like, first question from me is basically like, where are you from, and where you was raised? Because you might born in one place but being raised in a different place. But like, if you could just tell us so that way we can get to know more about you.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm Buffalo, New York, native, raised here. This is, proud hometown of Western New York. I grew up at a younger age, more in Jasper Parish projects. We played basketball, we boxed, we did all those things. So the upbringing was a bit impoverished. So we had to be innovative and resourceful to, find a better way for ourselves. So at a young age, there were times where I was living on the street. Parents weren't super fit, so I was picked up off of the streets. I was put in a group home for about 5 years, so I ended up growing and flourishing through those avenues. Luckily, I was picked up because the circumstances were better in there than out on the street. So I was there, got out of there. I was adopted, from a man who I consider my father now, Robert Meredith. He's a real estate mogul. He's a vice president of a top real estate firm, Gurney Becker and Bourne, a very prestigious firm here in Buffalo and Western New York. He has always been my idol and my mentor, and has showed me that there's a better way in life. There's an honest way in life, and if you work your tail off and you really put your eye on the prize, and you do what you love, and you don't do something because you're chasing it for the money.
Right.
You will be successful no matter what you're doing in that aspect. So he has helped me to see that, and has given me an opportunity for a better life. And he's been my mentor and showed me what it's like to become a businessman. I've had, several businesses that I built and sold, and now rebranding another one as a 20-year fitness pro. I'm a serial entrepreneur, and I'm a serial networker, and I just really love to chase success and fear of ever reliving my childhood.
Definitely,
to be honest,
man, that's huge. That's huge, like, journey for you, and also, like, let me just take it back to the group home. You mentioned living in a group home and stuff like that. How was that experience? Because there's some kids who's living in group homes, and they wanna hear from someone that experienced it too, but also that was able to make something out of themselves, So
Absolutely.
like, how was the experience there, and how did that make you feel, just being away from your parents and so on, and kind of like finding a way to better yourself for the long run?
Yeah, so initially they'd given me a tour of the group home and said, hey, how would you feel about spending a night here? And I said, I don't think I would feel too good about spending a night here. And they said, well, you're spending a night here. So
it was by force.
Yeah. So initially I felt kidnapped. I was so free that I just felt that, what would this structure do to me? But what I didn't realize, what could the structure do for me? Right. So once I got into that situation, I felt shattered. I felt broken. I was confused. I wasn't used to that type of structure, But when you're coming from parents who were unfit, they didn't give you the structure initially, so you needed that, or you were going to be lost forever. So I gained the structure. I was placed in the group home. There I was, promised, oh, you'll be out next year, you'll be out another year. Then a third year came, and a fourth year came, and I just started feeling defeated. But I knew I was getting older, and I said, okay, they can't keep me in here forever. So I ended up getting out of the group home, and when I was in the group home, I learned so much. A lot of athletic kids in there. We ran track. We played basketball. I was one of the top shooters at every basketball camp that I won, 3-point shootout champ. Canisius basketball camp, where you went as a young kid, 13. I mean, I had coaches from Rutgers University already looking at me saying, hey, when you get older, do you want to come and play at our school? Yeah. I eat, sleep, and breathe basketball. I shot 2,000 jump shots before school in the morning. I would go to school. I would shoot again. I would go to basketball practice. I started working on my craft as a chess player. I became a chess champion when I was in there as well. With just some of the local chess clubs. So I really started to use my mind, and showed me how to become a more focused individual when I was in there. And honestly, the group home, it was actually Connors Children's Center, was one of the best things that has ever happened to me.
Oh, wow. That's crazy. So, like, just going to the group home, like you said, at first you felt like you was kidnapped. Like, you felt like, what am I doing?
I was
here?
captured, yep.
And also, but it was eventually one of the best experience that you had. you know. So just what age did you like stay there like till? Because a lot of times I'm not familiar with the group homes because unfortunately I was lucky enough to be raised by both parents and stay with my two parents. But like at what age were you able to be like, you know what, now I can move on, I can find a different place?
Yeah, I was about 13 years old, 14 when I got out. So I got out of there, and then I ended up moving with a different aunt at the time, my Aunt Emily. So I lived there, which was actually around the corner from the group home in North Buffalo. And, I ended up going to Riverside High School, starting out there playing basketball. Right. And I was in that school for a while. And then my aunt ended up moving out to Amherst. It was a better educational and school system academically. So I ended up seeking that opportunity and moving with them for a little while before I ended up moving with my Uncle Bob and going to high school at Amherst Central High.
That's a crazy story, man.
And
that's a crazy story. And if you could just tell us, like, because a lot of people, when they go through something, like, did you ever face certain feelings such as like anxiety, depression, and so on? How did you overcome like all those feelings, like growing up in a group home?
Yeah, so I think a lot of it is when we don't practice mindfulness enough and we're just not aware of our emotions and feelings.
Right.
There's a time where we realize that there's so many unresolved childhood traumas in our life. And when you have so many unresolved childhood traumas, we are now learning. There's an interesting book called The Myth of Normal by Gabor Mate and Daniel Mate. These are research doctors and scientists and writers who are now linking tons and tons of diseases that people are having in the modern day to unresolved traumas from childhood. So I wasn't aware, unless you're showcased or influenced to a certain degree, that there is another way. You're feeling a certain way because you have dealt with, or you were part of a traumatic situation when you were a child. You were in a bad situation. Some children were molested. Some people were abused physically, mentally, emotionally. I mean, there's all forms of abuse that affect our body very similarly, whether you're hit or it's just psychological torment and torture. Right. So I have just thought about it from that standpoint of, just becoming aware of myself and the situation that I was in for the most part. If I answered your question to the best of my ability.
Definitely. No, you did actually answer my question. And also, like, how do you think like the system was like treating the kids that was in that group home back in the days compared to today? I don't know if you do follow up or like kind of like look into like different group homes, because a lot of people, when they eventually come from something, they try to look back and see, okay, how is it compared to back in my time? So like based on the like if you was to compare the two, like how was it like the group homes like back the time like you was in there and today, if you been looking at the group homes today?
Yeah, I think I haven't been back to take a visit for a compare and contrast, but I know back then there were good things and bad things. I noticed, back then there were only certain types of food that they would continuously serve you back then, and it was only to the end of my term at, the younger house, the children's center, where I would say, hey, we were in a soup line or we were in the food line, and I would say, hey, can I have eggs over easy today? It's been, 3-4 years of you serving me this. And they said, no, we can't. I'm like, why? They said, because these are powdered eggs. This is government issue, So the food quality wasn't the best, but it was consistent. And it's funny because I would always tell myself, I would say, when I get out of here, I'm going to get over easy eggs. And then I get home, I go to a restaurant, the waitress comes up, she goes, yeah, I was like, can I do steak and eggs? Yes, sir. How would you like your eggs? I would say scrambled. So I would still take the eggs the same way, you know,
Right.
creatures of habit, that they were served to me there. It just, I know now they're not powdered eggs. So, but so there were a lot of those consistent things. So I think there were some things that were subpar, but they were consistent. So those were some of the things, like food, because when we grew up before there, we didn't have food. You know, we were street fighting for free lunches in the park. Kids were getting burned with dry ice and stuff. Their milk would get stolen, or people were trying to rob your peach or your sandwiches and trading you. But then, you know, that's just how it was, right? Everybody was hungry. It was poverty. So it was, you know, the free lunch wasn't always free.
Wow, that's crazy. That's crazy. And a lot of people they wouldn't even like looking at you right now. People couldn't even tell like you went through all that.
No.
You know? And it's like it's a story to tell. You know, that's
Yeah,
why I'm
thank
telling
you.
people, when you go through something, make sure you never forget where you came from, because at the end of the day, like you're gonna help somebody else in the long run. You know, like you're gonna inspire so many other kids that's going through the same thing you went through. And like right now, basically, that's why I was like, you know what, we have to do this episode.
Yeah.
We have to do this episode. And all these stories you're telling me, though, like I didn't really know them when I met you last time.
Yeah.
Basically, so now I'm starting to actually saying like, wow, like this guy really went through so much.
Yeah, and there's a point too. I don't want to interrupt, but there's a point too where, you know, there was some staff in there, and
Right.
they said, "What do you want to be when you get older?" I said, "I want to be an NBA basketball player." And I had one woman in there, and she said, "What happens if you don't make it to the NBA? You know you're not going to make it to the NBA, right?" And I said, "Well, I'm not going to listen to people like you, because you didn't end up anywhere in life and you're negative." So when I got to a certain level in business, one thing that I did is I bought a condo right in like near Millionaire Row on Delaware, and it was at the top of the floor, alligator wallpaper, beautiful, right? So people are like, "Why do you want to live at this condo?" It was beautiful, high end. I moved there. I said, the reason why I moved, I would go onto the rooftop, one of the only rooftops where you could see Niagara Falls. There's only 2 rooftops in the whole city, and it's like right, you know, next to like the Himalayan Institute there. And I would go up there, and when I would look down, I would look down on the one house, because the group home was right across the street. So I bought a condo right across the street from the group home, so I could look down on that woman. I was like, who didn't make it yet?
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So it was right across the street from 824 Delaware Ave, which was Connor's Children's Center.
That's crazy.
And I moved at, you know, that condo, and I just looked down on it, and I was like, look at right now. I'd like,
That's
yo.
crazy.
And
That's
I'd have
crazy.
these nice, awesome rooftop parties, inviting people, bringing social gatherings together.
Right.
And I was like, man, I was living, man. It was great.
Nah, that's crazy, because the level of pettiness is there, man.
Yeah.
I wish you could just be outside and look up.
Yeah.
And then look at you.
I was like, I remember you.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
you just tell her like, remember you told me I would never be anything, you know.
Yeah.
But yo, that's crazy though. That's crazy. That's why I said like that story you're telling right now. It's really gonna change so many lives, especially like the people that's trying to come up. Which also, as me myself, like I'm trying to come up, so like it's something that's gonna motivate me, inspire me to like be like, you know what, just focus on this and that.
Absolutely. You're already there, man. I was looking at
Hey.
your channels and YouTube, man. I can't believe how many people are
I'm just
watching
grinding.
you.
I'm just
Jesus.
grinding.
Eat, sip, and chat, man. I feel honored that you wanted me to be on your channel, so thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. And also, so let's move on to the next question. I mean, you mentioned just coming from the group home, you went to live with your aunt,
Yep.
right? And then from your aunt, and we had a conversation earlier, which you mentioned actually throughout your introduction. Basically, just you was adopted by
By my uncle Bob.
Your Uncle Bob.
Yeah, Robert Meredith.
yeah. And how was that though? Like just being adopted and living in a house. It's same thing. Your parents are not around. And how did the adoption kind of like made you who you are today? Because that's where I'm trying to get now.
So the amazing thing was, it wasn't this legal adoption. It was, you know, I wasn't always the most well-behaved child. So it was, oh man, we don't kind of want to deal with this kid. And he said, you know what? I have a beautiful, amazing, wonderful life. I'm going to take him in, and I know he's a problem child. And he took me in, and he inspired me and showed me a way that nobody else could get me to change to see the light, and immediately I saw the light. And the great thing about living there with him was I was so appreciative of the opportunity to be in the presence and to see this. I mean, I remember he would pick me up sometimes on holidays and on a weekend here and there, and I would go to his house, and I would go back to the group home, and I'd say, you wouldn't believe it, this guy has white pillars on the inside of his house, man. I was like, it reminds me of Charleston, South Carolina, where you see the old generals' mansions with all of the pillars on the outside, huge houses. I'm like, this guy has them on the inside. I'm like, I can't believe it. And then when he took me in, I was like, man, wow, you know, I could have something like this one day if I work hard enough, because he didn't come from much. He came from nothing and became very, very successful. And I said, wow, he's showing me a blueprint in life that, hey, you can come from nothing if you work hard enough and you focus, that you could also have something very similar, but maybe you take a slightly different route. You know, be honest, you know, follow your passion, follow your path and your dream, and just stay focused there. So he took me in, he gave me opportunity, and I never wanted to disappoint him. And I always remember saying to myself, I said, I never want to ask this man for $1 when I was younger. I was like afraid to ask for $1 because he gave me food, he gave me a roof over my head, and he gave me a role model, which gave me opportunity to see the light that I could be something great, but slightly different. So, you know, and there were times, you know, as I got older, where, you know, I needed help here and there. He was there for me, but I never felt comfortable being like, this man has made it and I want to ride on his coattails. So.
Right, so you wanted to build up your own success, just to.
Yeah, I was just so appreciative of the opportunity that I knew that, you know, there was a higher power, God or somebody, whatever one believes in, was looking out for me, and they placed that very magical angel and inspiring individual in my life and said, hey, you need this, and this is going to be that pivotal moment where you go left or you go right, and we're going to give you the opportunity, but you need to make the right decisions, because you could go back to, you know, where you grew up, or you could go right, and you could have a great story to tell.
Nah, definitely, and you have a story right now, which is crazy. And also, like, when he did adopt you, I mean, what lessons? Because you mentioned a couple of things, but like, what actual lessons did he like teach you? Like sitting you down, for example, you mentioned like a lot of people were saying like, oh, he's a trouble kid. But he kind of took that responsibility to say like, you know what, I'm gonna take him in. But like, what lessons did you teach you, like in terms of like business wise? Because right now you're a businessman. You know, you got your own business. Plus, you just rebranded, like you said, Fierce 2.0. You know, so like what lessons did he give you?
Well, he just taught me, one of the biggest lessons is to never tell a lie. You know, a lot of people, they run around, they tell a lie so much that they start to believe the lie and their life becomes a lie. So he said, just don't ever tell a lie, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because you're going to have to cover up a lie with a lie. And then you're always going to get caught telling a lie. And you don't want to eventually become a lie. Your life could become a lie, you know? So you could be living a lie. So don't tell a lie. Another lesson was to chase your passion and never pick a career based on the amount of money that you could make doing the career. He offered me and said, hey, do you want to come into my business and come sell, you know, multi-million-dollar real estate with me? That was an easier option back in the day, when I could have been like, wow, I could really do really well really quickly. But once again, I'd be riding off the coattails, and I would have not taken his advice on the lesson of doing what makes you happy. And I looked at him one day and I said, you know what? I'm not passionate about real estate and property and architecture the way that you are. So I would never want to bury your business. And he looked at me and he said, I respect you for that, and I appreciate that. He goes, because you could ultimately imprison yourself with making the choices because you want to do something that's going to make you more money, so you could seek validation from 99% of the world who really just doesn't give a crap about you. So when you think about that, you know, why would I need to make more money? Right. You know, sometimes you need enough so you can have enough, and enough is enough. And sometimes I've learned where I lived above my means and it hurt me financially. And I lived slightly below my means when I was making more and I was content, and a lot of that had to do with the people that I surrounded myself with. So I learned that too, that do the things that make you happy, chase the career, And those were the lessons, a couple of lessons that really has helped me yield some of the success that I have now.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, like I said, man, you're gonna inspire so many people, because a lot of people usually look for things like that. A lot of people, like I said, just looking for the come up. There's a lot of young kids who are lost. They don't know what they want to do. There's a lot of kids who are being, for example, where I'm from, there's parents who actually, thank God for my parents, they actually taught me the same lesson, like go for something that's you're passionate about, be happy. Like that.
Are you from Congo?
I'm from Congo.
Yeah.
Something that you're happy about and so on. You know, but then there's other kids who were raised with parents who tell them like, I want you to be a doctor. Yeah. So when they're not a doctor, the parents kind of like, it's like they disown them, or they don't want to mention them as like my kid or whatever. You never listened to me. I told you to be a doctor, but you chose to be a lawyer and so on.
Yeah.
You know, so like that story right there will really like inspire like a lot of kids to kind of look into it. And that's the conversation I had yesterday when I had this other interview that I was shooting with these old people. They were like, you know what, do something that you love, you know.
Absolutely.
Don't let nobody tell you to do this and that. Like, do something that you enjoy doing, because it's gonna play a huge role like in the long run.
Yeah. And that's another thing. Like when you think about people doing careers that are based on needing that validation, sometimes a fleeting validation depending on who you're doing it for. But when you think about, even in India, they have one of the highest suicide rates because the standard is so strict on them from their parents and their family. They have two careers that they're perceived to be successful, and if not, they're considered a failure, and they're essentially shunned. If you don't become an attorney or a doctor in India, it's like they end up, a lot of these people just kill themselves because they feel like they know they will never be accepted in their families and in their rituals, because they did not follow that pursuit that their family deemed to be the righteous path for them, and to be the career choice, to be a proud representative of their family and their family's legacy.
Wow, that's crazy. I mean, I actually do see it. I see it like in different parts of the world. Like parents are really strict on their kids' career. Like, come on, man. Like, like, are you gonna live my whole life? Like, like,
stop trying to control me.
Like, you trying to control me or whatever, you know, which is very true.
I'm a grown man now. Jesus,
exactly. So let's now move on to the next question. Absolutely. I mean, now you're grown up. I mean, you've received all the gems from your uncle, you know, just your uncle just giving you game and something like that, you know, like just to kind of like tell you like, kid, try to find the right direction, don't lie, don't do this, you know, be a man for yourself, you know, like. And so like, how did that shape you to become the man you are today? And in description, like, how would you describe yourself as of today? Like, how would you describe yourself as like the man you are today?
You know, I've fallen down, as cliche as it may sound. You know that old saying, it's like, you know, fall down 7, get up 8. You know, I've fallen down a lot on my face. I've made a lot of mistakes. I've let, you know, a lot of my temptations sometimes lead me in certain directions that have, you know, created some issues. I picked myself back up. I got back on my feet. I mean, we all endured COVID together. That was the small business killer, they call it. It destroyed small businesses, and, you know, we all were hurting. You know, you just get back up and you fight for it. And he just taught me that perseverance and that grit to, you know what, you're going to get punched in your mouth, you're going to lose teeth, but if you set yourself up the right way, you can get a good dentist so he can make you some fake teeth. You know what I mean? And get back on your thing and keep smiling, and don't let those setbacks define who those fall downs or those setbacks define who you have to be in the near future. Get back on it, develop and structure that discipline that's going to help you to continue to fight better tomorrow than you did today. So he taught me a little bit about that. Just don't give up. Keep fighting, man. That's it.
Definitely
do better tomorrow.
Fighting.
Stay educated. Keep reading. You know, work on a plan. A man without a plan is a man who can't stand.
A man without a plan is a man who can't stand.
Yep. So a man without a plan is a man who can't stand. So be a man with a plan.
Right.
You know, and work and focus more on the process of how something's built within a business rather than setting just goals. Because you're never going to reach your goals if you don't have a process. You'll keep failing because you don't know where you're heading. You know, you're like a ship out at sea without a rudder, essentially.
Definitely.
So you gotta structure that plan in life, in personal life and in business, depending on whatever it is. You know, if it's your children's life, you have kids, you got to set that up as well. You know,
Definitely. And so my next question is, let's talk about women.
Yes.
Because a lot of times women, if for example you're dating someone, right?
Yeah.
They can either be your upbringing or your downfall. You know, like they can either lift you up or break you down. You know, how did that play a role in your life? I mean, in terms of like trying to build up your businesses and stuff like that. Like, did women kind of like encourage you, or did they break you down? And how did you kind of like maneuver around them to be in this position right now?
Absolutely, yeah. So like I said, I'm a 20-year fitness pro who specializes in training women.
Right.
I focus on fat loss, lean muscle gain, and an emphasis on corrective exercise and physique to prevent injury. So I've worked with tons and tons of women, and as a man, we have to harness our sexual desires not to take advances. Like men who hit on women, I've had a lot of women hit on me, and I realized that in this world, society has defined that, you know, some of the perspectives that what a woman could offer you sexually is a form of an equal exchange currency-wise. So if you accept all that, because as a man you can't control your sexual desires, you'll mess your money up real quick. So I've learned that, you know, there's a hashtag Me Too era, there's all that, but you just have to be disciplined in life to make sure that you put your business as a top priority, and you want to be respected as a business professional. And truly, deep down inside, I've learned that it's way more and much more fulfilling to change someone's life and not just their body, and not just to take that so I can reach these micro bouts of endorphin releases because I'm fulfilling all of my egotistical maniac focuses. Oh, I didn't know what that was. Focuses. I've met people working out.
We're in the gym, man. People working out, man.
Clapping weight plates. We're going at it. But those focuses. So I've learned to harness that and to be professional. And I think that's why, I mean, I've been training. I've had Fierce Fitness since 2003, and I was training before 2003. So I've been doing this over 20 years. And I don't have any issues. I've never had anybody say, you know, there's sexual harassment here or there. I just try to maintain professional image with women. And I want to change people's lives ultimately. If you're trying to take every advance, or you're making advances towards everybody, nobody's getting benefit. You're not getting benefit. You're not helping change their life. You're going to build a horrible reputation for yourself. And you're just not going to be a great coach because you can't control your desires.
Right. Nah, definitely. That's actually a good, because you mentioned there's that Me Too, and the conversation, you kind of relating to the conversation that I had yesterday with these old guys. They mentioned something about if try to make the right choices in life, so that way nothing could haunt you in the next 20 to 30 years. Yeah. And the reason why he said that is because people wait till you become successful to actually come back and say, you know what, this person did this, just so that way they can get something.
Yeah,
you know, which is actually true. And so, like, would you consider yourself, like you said, women will kind of hit on you? Like, would you consider yourself like a high-valued man?
Yes. I'm a high-value man. I've built businesses and sold them in short periods of time. I work on myself every day. I read, I work out, I help people. I'm a man on his mission and his purpose. So I think when people look at you and say he's a man on his mission and purpose, he's always working. He takes care of his grooming. He loves his fashion. He smells good. He looks good. He really is a genuine individual, and he always wants to help people. Women find a man on his purpose, and he can't be easily distracted and pulled away is very, very attractive. And they know that that's an individual who can become a great provider because he's not all over the place.
He's not all over the place.
And you can trust a person like that. So that's a man of purpose. So I consider myself a very high value individual.
That's legit. That's legit. And also, so now let's now start moving on to your businesses.
Yep.
You actually mentioned that you own this business, and so let's start. What was your first business before you started? Let me say coaching and stuff like that, because you mentioned you started Fierce 2.0 in
Yes.
2003, right?
Yeah, 2003. At the same time, I was. Some of the things that helped me change my life and work a little harder was, in establishing that confidence is I had an opportunity. I was walking through a festival one day and a woman came up to me and she said, "Hey, you have a really good look. You could be a model." And I'm like, yeah. So long story short, I started to pursue it. I went to some modeling conventions. I got called back from Ford Model Management, Next, some other ones. I was doing music there too. Got called back to RCA Records,
Right.
a bunch of other callbacks. So that kind of gave me some inspiration. So my first business was really me learning how to market myself and modeling in New York City and doing that, going back and forth on the train from here when I didn't have a lot of money at the time. So I worked in that industry first. And then, I built into, the coaching. And then I had, my gym business after I had a car parking company called Elite Valet Enterprises, which we built up car parking services for different venues like Snooty Fox back in the day, for Bacchus Restaurant on Chippewa. We were doing private parties for different politicians in Clarence Williamsville. We were parking Ralph Wilson's car and all the Buffalo Bills on private parties on Middlesex down here. So I was a head salesman for the whole company, and it was myself and two other brothers. And I ended up coming in, and what I found was I said, man, we're understaffed. We're working for somebody. I was running valet for them, and I ended up coming in, and one day, and I said, hey, I don't know about you guys, but I'm going to start my own valet car parking company. And these two brothers, one was a teacher at Orchard Park High School at the time, and the other one just got out of the Army and came back from war. So they're like, and we were always the top collectors where we worked at this huge place called the Statler Towers. That's right down at the Circle near City Hall. And we ended up starting our own valet car parking company, and it just took off. I went in and I was like, I just started taking accounts from other valet companies and offering things that they couldn't offer, and creating, a unique way to pitch our company and to provide a better service for less money. And, to create a volume concept, and we just took all the way from here down in tons of different restaurants and private parties, and we were doing really, really well.
And your business still going, the valet company?
No, I ended up, once Fierce Fitness around the 2003 mark was established, I was balancing both for a little while, and I started burning out because I'd have to valet, manage the accounts, and I'd have to wake up early to train clients. I had a gym right on Elmwood Avenue at the time, between Bryant and Utica, and that was just always busy and picking up. And then I had the valet car parking, and I just said, you know what, we're at this point, let's look at the numbers, let me take a buyout. You guys okay with that? So they're like, yeah, we're fine with that, because the company was doing really well. So I took my buyout, and then my whole goal was using that as a stepping stone to truly chase my passion. Same reason why I didn't get into the real estate was I was ultimately passionate about fitness and what fitness has done for me and how it has changed my life.
Right, that's crazy. And the money didn't really mean nothing to you, so you was like, you know what?
Yeah, I took what I took. It was nice, and then I just ventured into coaching and training, and and then I started bringing unique methodologies with the fitness coaching to Buffalo. I was the first trainer in Western New York to host TRX suspension training classes. The news did an article on that. I'm always trying to get on the forefront and the cusp of what fitness trends are emerging that has great functional capacity. Yeah.
Definitely. And then that's when Fierce 2.0 was born. 2003, like after the valet company and everything like that?
So that was Fierce Fitness.
Fierce Fitness.
Yeah,
and
Fierce
then,
Fitness
Oh,
LLC.
the rebrand is Fierce 2.0.
Yeah, Fierce 2.0. Actually, I think we just rebranded about a month ago. So we just got all of our, our EIN tax numbers and the new rebrand, the offshoot from that. So yeah, it's just a rebrand. It's a new, new start, new business, facelift. We made it through the COVID. We made it through, the divorces. We made it through the hard times, the adversity, and the trepidation. And now we're just revamping ourselves to show people, hey man, if you got knocked down 7, make sure you get up 8. So this is the 8th time. This is to get up 8.
No, that's true. That's true. And so now let's look at Fierce. Okay, so when you did start Fierce, did you start alone also, or did you have like a group of people, like a group of guys, let me say 2 or 3 that wanted to, like, that kind of like jumped on with you, and you was like, you know what, I'm gonna teach you guys how fitness goes and so on, so that way we can build up like a bigger clientele.
Yeah. So I started Fierce by myself, and I was running as hard as I could for a while, and then I ended up, I had so many clients that I needed assistance if I wanted to scale and grow and not burn myself out.
Right.
So I hired a coach, and then, I hired another coach, and then I hired another coach. At one time, we had 7 coaches training multiple people at a time. So it was that, and we were training. I mean, there were days where I would train 26 1-hour sessions just alone, and we had other coaches doing that. And I paid my coaches the best in the city. There was an average time frame that they would stay with me for 3 to 5 years. I've had coaches that were on Good Morning America. I've had coaches that are, when they went on, they became doctors in physical therapy. So I always would go to UB, to UVille College, Canisius College. I've had coaches, athletic trainers, and nutritionists that have come from Canisius as well. Wow. So just a lot of the top universities, I would go and say, hey, we're in the weeds here. Who do you have who's a qualified professional that's looking for a career opportunity? And then, they would send them down, and we wouldn't even really do internships. I never wanted somebody to ever feel exploited. Mm-hmm. I'd say, you're going to learn while you get paid. So that was, so I just tried to build right from there. About 6 months after I started Fierce Fitness in 2003, I took on my first person. I did as much as I could on my own, and then needed a little assistance backup, and I needed to have that team and that camaraderie as well.
Definitely. Okay, so now let's look at personal training. As you can see, guys, we're sitting in the gym right now, and that's his gym. So we're sitting in the gym right now, as you can see. Basically,
Fitness Factory. Yep, actually,
Factory.
Yeah, I'm operating out of Fitness Factory.
Right.
It's Roy Espinoza's. So I've joined forces with Fitness Factory to streamline the process and not have to worry about so much of owning the property and focusing more on the client and the training methodology and the results. So it's just giving me the opportunity to make the client the priority once again.
Yep, as you can see, man, we in the gym right now. And if you don't have a membership, come and sign up ASAP.
Yeah, you can check it out. We have
check it out, man.
Try a 7-day trial with me if you're looking for an elite level of coaching where we're looking at functional patterns of movement. We're looking at muscles that are working well, other muscles that are not working well. We'll give you the right corrective exercise. We put you on quantitative data. The InBody, a device from Australia that the Buffalo Bills use, good enough for the Bills, good enough for you. I dial in all the mathematical formulas to make sure that we're giving you the right nutritional recommendations for your goals, your body, and we're making sure that it's personalized and individualized. And then we also have another option for you if you're looking for that 24-hour access. We have a little wraparound option on a very limited basis. If you want to sign up and you're looking for the privacy, make sure you reach out to Roy Espinoza, and he can assist you with getting you set up with that. So.
All right. I heard the man. So now let me just jump onto some questions that I wrote down actually to ask you based on your personal training experience.
Yes.
So I just want to start with the question first. Like, what is your training philosophy or approach?
Yeah, so my training philosophy and approach, I focus on a lot, like I said. I'm a fat loss and lean muscle gain specialist. I focus on physique. I have people come to me, I build better booties. I build less body fat on their body. I teach them about endocrinology, hormonal profiles. I teach them how to stimulate that through different foods, circadian rhythm and sleep cycles and patterns of that sort. And then I give them the right exercises in the right order to make sure that they are building a stronger leg, stronger hips, stronger butt, but we're also making it shapely with the right nutrition and the right exercises. You know, because you could really work hard on your favorite muscle groups that are already predominant, and they just keep getting bigger and bigger, but you can't see behind you. And when people are looking at you, they're going, you know, great quads, no butt, their back, they have horrible shoulders, bad posture. You know, they weren't stretching their lats enough, their neck muscles are tight, so their head's jutted forward because they have an occupation that's very sedentary where they're sitting at the desk. So I'm a form and technique monster, and I'm looking at the mechanics of how people are moving, how their feet turn out in a squat, what muscles are tight, and I'm giving them the appropriate exercise to make sure that it's like a tune-up at the same time. So corrective exercise, and then I focus a lot on the fat loss, lean muscle gain, because I want to build the most beautiful bodies. I want the women, I want to give them the hottest butts. So when they're walking around, for the men who can't control themselves, hey, those women are going to seek an opportunity from them. You know what I mean? So come and get a better butt so you could get a higher value man. So
definitely,
you know?
definitely. And so my next question, can you share some of like the success stories of your clients that you've worked with like in the past? I know you kind of mentioned that throughout your philosophy, that was your end goal, basically to make sure people have that good body and so on. But like, and your clients, so like your clients will always come to you and tell you like, you know what, thank you so much, you've changed my life. So can you share some of the stories like where?
Absolutely.
Success,
yeah, I had one guy, he was a superintendent of a school, came to me, he had, you know, bigger belly, 40-something years old, and just had incredible work ethic. We dialed his diet plan in, and he just started losing tons and tons of weight. We did a lot of functional training, and then we started making a shift. We started focusing a little more on men's physique and bodybuilding. And he was 6'4", you know, big, little, not, you know, super muscular and toned. Within about, you know, 5-6 months of making a shift into more of the physique aspect, he got shredded. I mean, 8-pack of abs, looked like, I mean, I have before and after photos of these people too. We could throw it up on the end or something.
I'm gonna put the photos. I'm gonna show you guys the photos.
Right, some of the testimonials. But yeah, so he just looked like a 6'4" modern day Viking, and he was just shredded and stacked. And I think at that time he was 48 or 50 years old, and he looked better than any 20-year-old I've seen. And it was, you know, every, you know, macronutrient was dialed in. He was just so dedicated and disciplined, weighing the food. He was taking all the amino acids in between, keeping that positive nitrogen retention level by making sure, you know, he was just doing what he had to do to become successful. But he had the discipline, he had the focus, and he had the drive. And so that's one of my success stories there. You know, for privacy reasons, I won't mention his name, but yeah.
Definitely. I mean, shout out to him, you know, for working so hard and taking the opportunity of, you know, changing his life.
Yeah, I call him Big L, but so if he watches this, he'll actually know, and nobody else will know. But yeah, he knows who he is. Yeah,
you gonna know.
Big L, not the rapper though, you know.
Definitely. And what's your slogan though? Because a lot of people do have a slogan in terms of like their business to kind of like, you know, that shows their. Like you already said.
Like the tagline?
Yeah, like the tagline.
Yeah. So my slogan or tagline is change your life, not just your body. Okay. So this is a lifestyle change. This is not just, hey, I want to create a great body. This is how do I work on the psychology of my mind? How do I deal with the traumas? How do I deal with the stresses every day? How do I learn how to become a better meditator so I can manage what's coming? Because it's not going to stop coming. You know, you can run away from it. The higher level of success you get to, the more difficult it is to sustain and manage that. So you need to figure out stress alleviators and a healthier practice and approach to getting to those levels. So this is more than just hey, I want a great body for 2-3 months and I'm going to run away and go run back to the bar and start drinking a bunch of stuff again and then not really eating, not tracking things. This is a whole lifestyle change. So when I say change your life, not just your body, this is more than just the body. You're going to change your life, you're going to change your lifestyle, all those things. Ultimately, the byproduct will be a great looking body.
Right. Definitely. Let's give that a like a drum roll, whatever. So my next question is, how do you stay motivated to continue helping your clients? Because I know you mentioned how, like, before, when you was working alone, basically you had that burnout. Like you were so tired because you was trying to manage this and that, trying to take care of like as many clients as you was receiving, coaching for like 21 hours throughout the day. Like, how do you stay motivated though, like to continue doing that?
So the value of a great coach knows the value of a great coach. So I hire coaches who are older than me, who are doing this game different and better than me in a different way, and I adapt and take little bits and pieces of the Tetris block or the Lego that helps me build my system a certain way. And what they do is they teach me things. They've been in the game twice as long as me. I have people in their 60s. I have world-class coaches, and I've worked with guys like Alan Cosgrove and, one of the top, and he's probably one of the top fat loss physique coaches to ever live, legendary Emile Giroux, who's out in Orange County there in Cali. And he is just doing amazing things with these women, and they all look like bombshells, but he really adds that psychological component to it. And he teaches you how to streamline your lifestyle and what you have going on in a different way.
Right.
So he's saying, why are you working 55 hours a day? Why don't you create a better business model and a better system so that you can buy yourself time back, so you can focus a little more on the marketing, the things you enjoy about your business, and then fill the gaps where you're weak and the weaknesses of your thing. Don't try to be everything and play every position on the baseball field, because you can't. So I hire people, and I'm humble enough to know that I do not know everything. And the more that I learn, the more I realize I don't know.
And that's how you become successful, right? Like, sometimes you gotta act. Sometimes you might know more, but you just have to be teachable, to be able to learn from other people, even though they might know less than you, but you can learn something from them at least.
A great friend said you have to be a coachable coach.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have to be a coach.
That's a good point right there.
If you can't be a coachable coach, man,
yeah, that's
I don't know what to tell you.
Slam the door on them.
I don't know what to tell you, because me too. It's like when I meet certain people that have used cameras or whatever, like they've done radio and stuff like that. And I mean, throughout, like, because I've been doing my podcast for like 2 years, but me learning all this stuff, being able to do my videos on my own, produce everything on my own, edit, do this, do that,
Your videos are incredible, man. Yeah.
Appreciate it, bro. And so, like, I realized, you know what? Let me try to ask these people questions. Like, I know somebody been doing some of their stuff, but, like, let me ask them questions. And I will ask them questions like, how was this? How can I fix this? What advice could you give me? And, like, it really helps me, develop as a podcaster and just a person, like, just growing up, in general.
This is my first podcast I've ever done, and I've been offered tons of podcasts, but when I met you, I just felt a really good energy, and then I started just looking you up, and I just said, you know what?
Appreciate it, bro.
I looked you up. I'm like, damn, man, this guy's the real deal. I said, let me take time out of my schedule, because it's truly an opportunity for me, and you're the real deal. So I appreciate you, and I appreciate the opportunity.
You like that?
Yeah, I like the clap. I was like, you got the clap.
Yeah, you like that.
You're about to start making beats and stuff.
I'm telling you,
beatboxing. Yeah,
definitely. But yeah, now let's look on to to the future. All right,
Absolutely.
we're running out of time, but like, what's your future plans though? Like with Fierce 2.0 and just all the other businesses that you've created, and what you're looking up to like in the future? Like how you trying to like manage everything? Because like you said, you continue to try to like hire people here and there, but also you have to grow as a person.
Yeah.
So like, how is the future looking for you, and what's the future plans? What are you looking to achieve?
I'm looking to get better at marketing, and then seeing potential and different talents, and then making sure if they're coachable, they have a magnetic energy, and they're a coach that's looking to make six figures as I scale this thing once again and grow it, post pandemic, get out here and have a good time with it, and create, a lifestyle and a substantial salary for someone to raise their whole family on. I'm just looking to build a team. So if I find a coachable coach who has a passion for fitness and exercise and truly wanting to help people, like they really want to help people, then I'm going to teach them the things that I know and that I've learned from coaches who have been doing this twice as long as me. Right. And they're teaching me a fast track way to get there. And it's this perspective of, and this mentality of frequency and consistency over perfection. I used to think, I have to do this perfect, that perfect. And there's these people, the more that these people want to micronize everything and make it perfect, you realize when they sit back and they go, why do I have to control so much in every little minute detail? Well, they realize they want to do that because they actually lack control in their own lives. So we try to control everything and everybody else and this, and you want ownership, and you realize, relax a little bit, it's okay. Go get yourself meal preps. There's all these services that will that buy you time back. And when you become an expert in the field that you're in, you can really focus on buying your time back and not perfecting everything. So that's that frequency and consistency over perfection thing that I've learned. So I just want to teach people, the psychology of how do we work a few hours a day, get more people in, create this energy in this environment, and still make great money, but ultimately we're really changing lives. And that's what I want to do. I used to work from morning till night until I was sick as a dog, and now I'm learning from coaches. It's like, you don't have to do that anymore if you really develop a great process, that will help you achieve your end goal.
And a great team, like you said, you're a coachable coach, so you was able to kind of like find that mentor in your life that told you like, you know what, you don't have to be, you can't be a baseball player and play like all the corners, You have to find someone who's a pitcher. I don't know the position, but a pitcher. The person that
outfield, center field,
like
first baseman, and
you have to find like all those people that can fill in those blanks, to kind of like ease your mind. And I mean, you have a lot of things going on for yourself, and I'm really proud of you, bro. Like, keep it going.
You as well, man.
Fitness.
Thank you.
Fitness is inspiring. Fitness right now is taking over.
Yeah.
It's taking over, a lot
Health
of
is wealth.
Health is wealth.
Hashtag health is wealth.
Hashtag. A lot of people actually realized that fitness was so important when COVID hit.
Yeah.
That's when I saw so many people that used to tell me, like, I would never go to the gym. The gym is da-da-da-da. Now it's like they're taking good
They were throwing, when you started seeing New York City saying we've reached maximum capacity, they just started throwing bodies in the middle of a hole. Man. You realize you were like, holy crap, man, I better up my vitamin C, go start working out, get a boosted immunity.
I'll tell you, I better get ready.
You're like, there goes grandma, they just threw her in a hole, man. You're like, this is messed up, man. I better take care of myself. I'm next.
Definitely. But thank you so much, bro. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your time. So we're just going to end it here. I mean,
perfect.
Time have ran out, but like, this was a great interview.
I appreciate your time too.
I appreciate it, definitely.
Thank you, Glory.
Awesome. All right, man. There you have it, man. Y'all go ahead and hit the subscribe button, man. Don't forget to like and share this video with your friends and family.
Fierce 2.0.
Fierce
check
2.0.
us out.
Check
Fierce
that out,
2.0.
man.
Eat, Sip, Chat podcast.
You already know. And we out of here, man. Let's go.